Hello, welcome to Reignite. I'm Cathy Grant. Before we start, I just want to send from us here at Reignite a message of love, peace, and kindness to everyone going through difficult times around the world right now. But right now, it's time to immerse ourselves in the world of rock and roll with our very special guest. If you're here live, jump in on the chat. They're a friendly bunch. So today, we have the man who lit the fuse and ignited Reignite. You may know him as Alice Cooper's guitarist. You may know him as the host of In the Trenches. You may know him as Roxie 77, or you may even know him as Peter Kensington. But we all know him as Ryan Roxie. Hello, Ryan. Welcome to Reignite.
What is happening, everybody? Bright and early. I wonder how many Americans are watching this right now, Cathy, because over in the U.S. and Canada, it's quite early still. I saw in the chat. I saw that Vic Chalfant, our storied and what was the word that Joey used for him? Storied and fabled producer, Vic Chalfant, is in the chat. There's one American that's up. But I see a lot of familiar names. Jackie's there. Okay. All right. But I see a lot of familiar European names as well. All right. So thank you all for whatever time of day or night it is for you. And maybe you're not even watching this live. You're watching it on the rebroadcast. But thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. I always do.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.
Hello, Cathy. What's happening? I lit the fuse of Reignite. Well, I would like to say that everybody on the RGA team, I think, helped light that fuse. And I do say it with a sense of pride that I feel that the In the Trenches podcast has spawned off some amazing offshoots of podcasts, if you will, whether it's the Voice It podcast or whether it's Pink Sock or whether it's yours. And so at one point, Roxie TV should become a reality. I think we should put it all under one umbrella and then just have it. Wow, Australia's in the house too. I love it.
Was that Kitty? Hey, Kitty.
What's up, everybody?
All the familiar faces have appeared. You have such loyal supporters, and do you know what? It really has, because of you, because of the podcast, obviously, and like you said, Pink Sock and Voice It. There's such a community being built up like I've never known with anyone or anywhere else. It's incredible. Made so many good friends. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome very much. And the thing is, sometimes, what's that movie where they said, build it and they will come? Sometimes if you just name it, maybe that will help make the reality become. So I named this sort of thing the Roxie Guitar Army, which is obviously a play on words from the Kiss Army, because as a kid growing up, being part of the Kiss Army was a cool thing. Well, why not be the Roxie Guitar Army? And I feel that we're sort of building up that loyal following now with everybody that's in the chat right now. And maybe it's the first time you're watching, but it is kind of like being in this sort of club, this comrade sort of cool atmosphere. It's built on positivity, but we are, even though the word army is in there, it's a positive army, and it's the Roxie Guitar Army. And I'm glad that we're getting bigger and bigger every day. But I would take the loyalty and the sort of the tightness of this group over any flavor of the month band. So if you're into flavor of the month bands, that's fine. And because there's so many great ones out there. Whenever I hear a song, I'm always on YouTube checking out new bands and stuff. I go, yeah, this is great. But then I see, maybe a year later, I haven't heard of them for a while. So where'd they go? But guess what? The Roxie Guitar Army and the RGA and all the things that we do together, we're still here together, and we're a cohesive bunch. So there it is. Voices Show representing.
Hey.
So I couldn't be happier. And this is the right atmosphere, Cathy, for me to drop my my big news that I'm going to drop. I kind of teased it out over last night. I put up in one of my stories, I put up early bird gets the worm. And for those of you that actually followed up on that, because there have been a surprisingly large amount of people that check that out. You guys know.
Why surprisingly? Come on.
Well, because I didn't when I put sort of a cryptic story up, I'm not expecting all that many people to, actually go down that rabbit hole, which I like to, I tend to go down a lot of different rabbit holes at a lot of different times during the day. Sometimes that actually doesn't serve as a good thing. Sometimes I need to be pulled out of that rabbit hole and get more focused on certain things. Like, when I'm way too far down YouTube or something like that, Bianca will pull me out and she'll say, get in the room and start playing guitar. So, I'm thankful for that too, as well. So anyway, I'm thankful for all you guys showing up, and well, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. I heard you had a special script for me with some special questions, and then whenever you want, we can drop our big news of what I'm planning to do on this next Alice Cooper leg, which kicks off. God, it kicks off in just a couple of days. We're starting again. First leg of the 2022. It's actually kind of like the second leg, maybe, because we've already done the Monsters of Rock cruise, and we did some dates around that. But that was sort of like, that was dipping our toe in. Now the whole leg goes in, and we're going to be gone on in the US and Canada for a good amount of shows, and hopefully we'll be able to see a lot of you out there.
Yeah, it's a hectic schedule we're kicking off with, that's for sure.
This is the first leg of it, and so I'm trying something completely new and different on this to sort of even get our already tight-knit group even tighter. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But what do you want to start off with?
We'll get to that. Well, right at the beginning, I said that the different names that people know you by, and one of them was Peter Kensington. So, I mean, I know where that's from, but why did you choose the pseudonym for Glamnation of Peter Kensington? And is it true that you all spoke in British accents?
I will try right now to get back into I will try to channel Glamnation. It's been a few years, but all right. I've always wanted to be. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of you out there that are thinking, Roxie cannot speak British at all. He talks like shite. But rally. See, it's weird for me to just go back to it, but I could do it on Sunday nights when we started this band, Glamnation. Glamnation was an amalgamation of all our middle names. Middle names would be Ryan, Peter, Roxie, Peter, and then perhaps something British titled, something that had a flair. So Kensington. Wasn't Kensington Market where we all shopped for scarves and spandex and fizzy jeans, if you will?
Yep.
So Peter Kensington was spawn from that. Eric Dover, what was his name? Fuck, I can't remember.
Someone must know. Put it in the chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat, please. Stefan Adika played bass. Well, sort of played bass. He played notes on a 4-string instrument. I think that's playing bass. His name was simply Yeshia. That was his Jewish heritage Hebrew name. Who was we had Eric Singer. Eric Singer was Doyle Harris, because Eric's middle name was Doyle. And then Teddy Zigzag, Teddy Andriavis, keyboard player. His name was simply Dr. Midnight. He had no degree. Just he was a doctor of nocturnal things. And then another keyboard player whom we've all forgotten about, but he will never let us forget, was Derek Sherinian. He's one of the greatest keyboard players of all time. Just ask him. His name was Nicky Lemons. So you see, it took a middle name and then something British, like lemons to go with tea and crumpets and stuff like that. J.C. Jackson. That was Eric Dover. J.C. Jackson. All right. I don't know. Have that had anything to do with being British or anything like that?
No,
so,
I'm not.
What do you think so far? Is it great? Is Slim Jim Phantom was never? You know what? He played one show. Slim Jim Phantom. I see that in this chat. One show does not constitute being a member of Glamnation. Maybe he played more. This is a Saturday cartoon, isn't it? On the telly, if you will. All right. Can I stop now? There's my voice.
Please do, because I've got a lot of British viewers, so they're turning off, Ryan. No, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't, was it?
No, it's pretty good.
Not if you ask my wife. My wife says, "Oh, Ryan, please don't. Just don't."
Oh,
because
don't take
she's
the
the only
piss
one
out
that
of her
speaks.
accent.
If you talk to Bianca, she's the only one that actually speaks, and that includes all of you that are British. My wife thinks that she speaks the only proper English that's there because it's South African English. So it has an accent, but because she lived in London for so many years, she's even refined it even more. So yeah. So I'm not the bad guy here. Don't look at me. I'll
Okay.
be the bad guy once in a while.
You
Funny,
better
isn't it? I
in
like
it.
that connect.
In
Isn't it?
it.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
By the way, talking to Bianca, seeing as she's away at the moment, are you taking care of the place? Are you picking up your dirty laundry, putting it in the basket, filling the dishwasher? Is
Place
the
is
place tip already?
spotless. It is so
Really?
yeah, because I'm a relatively clean human. Um, it's like when we're on the road, I'm so used to hotel rooms going into a clean place and trying to leave it a clean place as well. So I've always been a relatively super clean human. The things that I have completely faltered on uh, since being together with B is that I can't cook anymore. You know, because she's such a good cook, and what I was really excelled at was kid food. I would make amazing meatballs and Swedish meatballs. You know, basically they were frozen and you just put them in a pan and you put some stuff on them. But I would make those amazing mac and cheese. I was the king of, and my own homemade dishes, which I am published by the way, in cookbooks, was my my chili what is it? Bolognese. My bolognese sauce as a signature, and my breakfast pancakes are signature. And of course, who could forget my published dessert dish called chaka corn? Yeah. So
And would you care to elaborate on what that is? It's not.
well,
Tell me, it's not popcorn with melted chocolate on it.
no, that would be daft. No, the thing is, it sort of is a pet peeve of my wife that I'm published in not just one, but two cookbooks. And even though she's a far superior cook than I am, I always ask her if she's published. So she's not. So if anybody is out there is aspiring to get recipes, you can throw my wife a bone and give her some recipes. She does actually really cook amazing. She has some great recipes. But my recipe for chaka corn was basically you get microwave popcorn. You've probably heard of it. You can pick that up at any store. You pop it for about 3 minutes. I think that's the exact time that you do it. And then you take that popcorn, put some butter on it, seasoning, salt if you want, and then you combine that with chocolate covered raisins. And then you mix it together, and the savory and the sweet go together. It's pure perfection. It's pure perfection. And it is called chaka corn. And honestly, you can check out the internet. You can go down that rabbit hole, which I will avoid doing for the duration of this podcast, but check out Ryan Roxie, chaka corn published chef, and you'll find it somewhere.
Okay. All right.
Right now, I could just see Bianca going, he talked about his being published. I can't believe it. It really is good though. And the thing is, it had a built-in sort of song with it because it was with Chaka Khan. Okay, Chaka Corn.
Oh, right.
Chaka Corn. Chaka Corn. You know, someone's got to write the whole riff. I guess that's up to Robby Miller. Robby Miller, if you're like, how about that, folks? Robby Miller, part of the RGA family, has now become a basic, you know, he's an actor. He's doing all these skits on Instagram, really funny stuff. It's like apparently he only hangs out with himself because he's the only one in the skits. I don't know if that's the twist to it.
and did you know the introduction music to this show was written by and has just been revamped by to include guitars for your
Robby
appearance.
Miller.
Robby Miller composed
There
the
you
intro.
go.
So if you missed it at the beginning, listen to it at the end. That's the work of our Robby, whose link is in the show description, obviously.
I know that he hates me saying this, so I'll say it again.
What?
Everybody that's watching right now, go give him a pity follow. Just give him a pity follow, if you
Right,
will,
yeah.
on Instagram. Because is he over 1,000 yet? I think he's over 1,000. I think he is. I think he broke that. He broke that a long time ago. So, you know, let's get him to 2. Let's get him to 2K. Yeah. All right. Yeah. It's kind of like me. It's kind of like me trying to get pity follows for YouTube for Ryan Roxie Official. You know how hard it is to get 10,000 followers on YouTube? It seemed like we were able to do that with Instagram in a very cool and quick way. When things sort of blew up at the beginning of the pandemic, we really pooled together. Everybody's like made a concerted effort to let's build this up. Let's raise awareness. Let's build a community. And at 100K, I'm not saying that it's huge or anything, but it's respectable, right? We have a good sort of, we put something out there, people are able to see it. And I know how hard it is, because I know how hard I've tried over the years to build a following. Then again, the following that we have created and that we have built up is fiercely dedicated, which is worth even more to me. But with YouTube, for some reason, it's like, it's a hard nut to crack. It's like people don't want to leave that safety of whatever social media bubble they're in. Whether if they're Facebook people, then they're on Facebook. That's it, and they don't want to branch out. Maybe they'll branch out a little bit to Instagram, but then there's this unweird territory of YouTube. I want people not to be afraid of YouTube and come over to Ryan Roxie Official and check out and subscribe. Okay.
Yes.
Follow me. Follow me, not you, Cathy. You've done really good with your podcast. I saw that you had a ton of views on the Marco episode as well.
Yeah, he's heading for about 5,000 now. So,
dude,
yeah, I know. And I got my next 3 lined up as well. But I'm staying quiet at the moment. But hey, look, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you. And then it wasn't for going on Pink Sock and producing that. And so here we are. Here we are now. But hey, subscribe to Ryan Roxie. And subscribe to Reignite, and obviously all your stuff is in the show notes, including links to ryanroxie.com and everything else, which we'll come back to in a minute. But I do
subscribe to Robby Miller, and subscribe to Robby Miller.
And of course, subscribe to Robby Miller, because one of these days, me and him are going to share an iced coffee. I spent about a year and a half taking the piss out of him for drinking iced coffee, because I only drink hot coffee. And then when we went to Vegas at Christmas, I tried one, and I actually had to send him an Insta video message going, okay, I apologize. It's really good. So I owe him one now.
Right before this podcast, I was very happy. You can see I'm a little what do you call it? Skipping your step or something. I'm happy because I was able to go out and have some coffee with my daughter, and we went into town, and guess what she had? She had a caramel iced latte. That was her thing. And I just had a super large 3-shot latte. Latte, not latte.
I'm definitely a convert. Latte. Well, I'd say latte. Latte.
It's so weird, that word. That word didn't exist when I was a kid. It's just one of those words that we've had to sort of adapt. Like, who invented it? Was Starbucks invented? Who invented and who's to say that it's latte? It's latte. Why is the emphasis on the first A? It's just latte. Like, if you went to Starbucks and said, I'd like a grande latte or latte, just mess with people. How do you pronounce it?
I want a big white coffee. Why can't you just say that? Why has it got to be a whole language in itself?
Because I think I want a big white coffee, depending on what sort of circles you run in. That could mean something totally different. A big white coffee. I don't know, somewhere. It's code for something in some sort of, bar somewhere, some sort of rave situation.
Oh, Jesus.
I look like I just came from a rave, don't I? I got my hair pulled back. Cathy, what's this deal?
Come on, the moustache. We've got to get to the moustache. Come on, because
shoot. Well, okay. First of all, Cathy, I don't know why you're using photos that are about 15 years old of me to promote something that's in 2022. Let's use a I think I did that photo shoot. Honestly, that's why I put the post up on the story that said perception versus reality. I think that photo that you have been using to promote this podcast was had to have been early Roxie 77 days in Sweden, right around the time of the Two Sides to Every Story. So that was like 2007. So that's about 14 years ago now, if my math is correct, maybe 15. So you're using a 15-year-old. I mean, that's almost false advertising at this point, I feel.
You've barely changed a bit.
Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?
So, but okay, here's the thing. All right. And I want to open it up to the chat as well, because I would like to see yeses or nos, because I want to do a poll here. This moustache has not been seen for many, many, many years, and suddenly it reappeared on the last tour, and now it's coming back again for the resuming of the tour. Why? Why are you doing it? Just why? And in the chat, who's on my side and who's against me?
I'm Team Mustache. Who's over on Team Mustache? Just put down hashtag Team Mustache. All right. And then the other one, go Team Bianca if you're not, because it's literally Team Mustache versus Bianca. Because if you notice that when I'm off tour and at home, I'm pretty shaven all the time, or at least, in some respect. I don't know why it started up again. I guess, to be really, really honest with y'all, there you go, Kitty, Team Mustache. To be really, really honest with you, I've been struggling. I don't know. This is maybe something a little that we can bring out into the forum and discussion and see how many people have been being messed with the same way ever since the pandemic hit. And I know that Sweden is a dry country, but spending all this time indoors, my skin has gotten fucked up. I feel like at points, like, as a teenager, everybody gets spots when they're a teenager, and then they kind of grow out of it. Well, I feel like I haven't been able to grow out of it and it's not so much a spotty type of thing. It's more rosacea. It's dry skin that gives this appearance of blotchy red BS. And I've talked about it before on my channel. And I guess, everybody's self-conscious about something. And that's probably something that I've been self-conscious about most of my adult life, is when it gets dry out, it wreaks havoc. But for the last couple of years since the pandemic, it feels like it's gotten times 100. Now, I'm not sure if any of you guys are out there struggling with it. If you are, do you have any amazing remedies? Because I've really tried everything, to sort of help with this rosacea. One of the things was not shaving all the time. Kind of helped out a little bit. So then when I would let it go for a while, I was like, okay, things seem to be calming down a little bit. So then I just start trimming it a little bit. And then of course, you get, a comment, you put up a post and you get a comment and says, hey, that sort of looks like Johnny Depp. And, of course your ego gets a little bit like, oh, really? Okay. Well, maybe I can start making movies and be in the Pirates of the Caribbean. Then, or is it the Caribbean again?
Caribbean.
Latte. You say what you want to say. But so then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay. Well, people seem to, if they say it looks a little JD-esque, that's a good thing. In my book, a good looking guy, super sweet dude. He's been part of our orbit now for a bunch of years. And every time I run across him and every time he's part of something that we do with the Alice Cooper band, he's nothing but like the coolest dude on the planet. Really, really superhuman. So, and I know Tommy's real close with him. So, it's the thing is now though, because when I first started doing it, it was a bit more salt and pepper, right? Everyone would say, oh, you got a little salt and pepper. That's cool. Well, now it's just all salt at this point. It's just 100% friggin' salt. So I have to resort to desperate measures. And that usually requires some sort of trip to Walgreens. Maybe not even me going to Walgreens, maybe someone like Officer Burkholder going to a Walgreens or a CVS, some sort of drugstore, and picking up some sort of just for men type of coloring agent. It's smoke and mirrors, folks. It's all smoke and mirrors. But this is what I am. Does it look okay now, or is it? Or you don't like it? You're not. What are you, Cathy? Are you team mustache?
I'm Team B. I'm Team B.
Right.
I don't know. How's it been going? What are the comments saying though? Is it 50-50 or is it?
What is the comments? Ash, what is the comment saying? I'm looking at it right now. You want to come on here and be our mustache counter?
Yeah. Okay. So it's 50-50. I would say about 20 people are for and 20 people are against. My view is that because you've got the goatee as well, that's a real rock and roll look. So stick with it.
See, it's like Ash has a goatee on his head. It's the same thing. It's like he's made the choice not to dye the goatee on his head, which is a good choice, which is fine. I have because the thing is, if I didn't dye this and I had this, you might think I was like, you might think I moonlight as Santa Claus or something like that at that point, or some sort of, like who's
I never dye my hair. This is all
long
natural.
gray hair. Who's a cool example of someone that has super long, like all silver gray hair and stuff? I mean, Neil Smith, but he's more blonde still. He's
I'm thinking Christopher Lee when he was in Lord of the Rings.
Willie Nelson is a good shout for very long grey hair.
All right. I'll take
let's leave it.
Your dyed mustache looks more like Johnny Depp than, hey, you look like Willie Nelson.
How you feeling? How you feeling?
How many people have just come over to Team Mustache now?
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna go for your mustache looks like Johnny Depp rather than your whole vibe is Willie Nelson. Yeah.
Okay, I think it's time to end that now.
Although Willie Nelson he does have a fucking cool vibe. I like that.
He's a cool dude. He's a cool dude.
I'm Team Willie as well. His kids are cool. I've met them in Hawaii a few times. And
Stop giggling at him saying Team Willie. I can hear you. Sorry.
Team Willie, huh? Oh boy, that's some sort of UK euphemism as well. I know. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm going to move on because this is getting worse. Okay. Question. I have a question, and it's something that we were talking about before we came on. It's a nice lead into it. Nick Sessler, who you know well from the RGA,
yes, I do.
And he was asking, will the band still be in a bubble in the US now that restrictions have been lifted? And a lot of UK people are also asking the same thing. So over to you.
This is what I know at this point, folks, because we want the tour to start and finish without having to cancel a single show. We will still be touring with a strict COVID bubble, as far as I know at this point. Now, I know that mandates are getting lifted. Some are still staying in effect. But because we are traveling on this tour, we cross borders a few times. We go from US to Canada, back to US, then over to Canada a few times on this tour. Every single time we go, it's going to be like a situation. It's going to be everybody has to show negative PCR tests, and it's going to be definitely math to work it out every time. So what management has come up with, and I think it's very reasonable, is they say, look, it is our job at the end of the day to perform and to perform shows. So, meeting people before and after the shows, we get it, that is part of the experience, but it's not the show. So we are going to stick with this COVID bubble protocol. That's not to say that things won't change eventually and could change by the time we hit the European tour. I'm just telling you folks what I know at this point. But because of that, and because I've been thinking a lot about that, because you know what a big fan I am of meeting all you guys, whether it's before shows or after shows, and, just catching the vibe before a show and then celebrating the show after with y'all. I thought, how can I do this knowing that we are going to have these protocols put into place on this next leg of the tour? How can I sort of get this rock and roll parking lot vibe? So I came up with this thing, and here it is, folks. Take your screenshots now. The Roxie's All Excess pass. And what is the all access pass? Well, basically, it's breaking news. See, that was quick. That was almost Vic Chalfant quick on the breaking news headline. So Roxy's all access pass. I just put a teaser out late last night. I was up until 3 a.m, folks, working on sort of what are all the things. I've been thinking about it now for a few weeks, but how to launch it, what can I offer, what can people expect out of it? And so I was talking to some key Inner Circle RGA members. They're going to help me with it. And basically, I'm going to try and give more access and excess virtually than I've ever given on any other tour, as far as what you guys get to see as part of what it's like going on tour in 2022 in a classic rock band like Alice Cooper. So basically, from the time that I get onto the plane, which is next Wednesday, until the time we do our last show of this first leg at the Greek Theater, I'm going to do my best to document everything that goes on a day-to-day basis. And, maybe for some of you, that's going to be, it's going to be, I didn't think it was going to be that boring, but maybe for some of you, it's going to be like, shit, that is exciting. And I want to do the same thing. At the end of the day, I want people to be inspired by it. So not only is it going to include a private Instagram channel and platform where it's only us that have the Roxy Access Pass, and I'm going to be putting everything in there, because I feel on my regular Instagram and my regular social media platforms, you don't want to hear, every single thing, but maybe you do. This is going to be real life. This is going to be real life in real time. And other things that we're going to do are do pre-show and post-show sort of Instagram live things. So basically, we will have a rock and roll parking lot at shows, but it'll be done online. It'll be within our circle. So that also means that it's not going to be tons and tons and tons of people. This is, I understand that the all access pass is not for every single person, but it's for definitely the hardcore. And if you're into it and you want to see what the whole experience of being what it's like on the road is really like, then go check it out. So other things it's going to include is a weekly guitar lesson that I'm going to go do an Instagram live sort of lesson to break down one of the songs that's in the Alice Cooper set, and I'll go through it. It obviously isn't going to be as intimate as like doing a one-on-one lesson, but I will be, if you have your guitar, we'll plan it out. We'll say, okay, I'll give you guys a little bit of notice, and I'll say, hey, get your guitars out. We're going to go through Be My Lover, for instance. Maybe that's in the set list on the next run. Never know. It's foreshadowing. But then I'll run through that song. And then the next week we'll do another one. So by the end of this first leg, you will have gotten not personal lessons, but you will have a lot of experiences, in a group setting with your guitar, if that's what you play. If not, you're going to also be invited to be part of the pre-shows, the post shows. And we've also thought about the space. We have room backstage on our podcast when we do In the Trenches. We have room for people to sort of hang out in, and space available. We'll have a few people, on the next coming up broadcast, sit back there if they want to. So I mean, I love the fact that you guys each week and each Friday you're in the live chat, but you could sit backstage with us in the virtual sense and watch the show from that angle. So that could be cool. I see a question from Kiyo where there'll be special guests joining you, such as bandmates. Well, the thing is, this is going to be my view, my worldview. This is my world of what it's like for me to tour. So obviously, I'm going to have people come in and out of it. I can't guarantee who's going to be part of what stream at what time, because that wouldn't be fair for me to just hype something that just doesn't happen. But I'm sure, by default, I'm on the road. I'm backstage. I'm in my dressing room. There's going to be obviously appearances from everybody. I mean, I talk a lot about what it's like to be on the road with Alice Cooper, where it's, we're playing golf and we're doing a rock show, and, then we're going back to do some interviews at the hotel, and then we're doing sound check, and we're going to then go catering, we get dressed, and we play the rock show, then we get on the bus and we play poker. All those things you're going to get to see like firsthand at one point or another during the course of this whole tour. Maybe you'll see it a bunch of times, but that's just part of the whole experience, because I want you guys to come along with me and be part of it. As far as physical stuff, I'm getting some really cool things. I'm going to show you guys this. And I mean, Erwin, who basically is one of the art directors for the Car Jam 21 project. Are you guys familiar with that, Cathy?
Yeah.
So he's been designing some laminates for me. And we are actually looking at, oh man, let me see if I can get a screenshot of it right now. We're looking at some prototypes, but basically you're going to get, if you join this Roxie's All Access Pass, you'll get an actual physical laminate. It doesn't do anything. It's this, but I'll sign the back of it. Don't go to the show and say, "Oh, I have this all access. I get it." No, that nothing. Disclaimer right now. This is not a free ticket to a show. This is not any access. That's why I call it access, right? Play on words. But you are going to get a physical laminate and an actual all access guitar pick. So you get an all access pass and an all access pick. But here's I'm going to show it real quick. Here's one of the sort of working designs of the first leg of the first laminate. So what do you think about that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
Looks good. Go.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. But so he's sending me over designs all day, and that's Erwin. You should follow him as well, because you know what? We're getting Robby followed. We're getting you followed. We're getting Pink Sock followed. We're getting Voice of Cut followed. We should definitely have Erwin getting followed as well. Where are you at, Erwin? So I'm going to give you some hype and some love. His name is Glamnation Stone. Glamnation Stone. GLAMOTIONSTONE. Erwin Langley. Love the guy.
Okay.
And actually I love everybody that's part of our creative group. Like the guy right back there that made that logo. That he's amazing as well. He's done all the videos for us and all the lyric videos, and Gustav Kronfeldt. So there you go. So anyway, all access. That's I think I've talked so much about it, but it's coming out.
It's exciting.
Everything starts now. I'm going to start putting posts up at the end of this broadcast. I'll send you the link for it. And basically, if you go on to ryanroxie.com right now, you can find it, because it's right on the first page. It says Roxie's All Access Pass, and you can go check it out. But yeah, it's in my stories as well. So there you go, Cathy. Thanks for letting me talk. And now it's your turn to ask me anything else you want to ask me, except about my mustache.
Oh, that's dangerous. And also, just to let everyone know, again, show notes, there is a link that goes directly to ryanroxie.com, and I just checked it before I came on, and that is right there as soon as you go into it. So it's all there for you. Yes, but we'll see. By the time you get to the UK, who knows? But because there's a whole heap of us coming over to.
That was the reason. The reason why I put this together. It sucks that the COVID protocols are in place. I understand, but what would suck even more is if we had to cancel a show, and then nobody wins at that point. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So hopefully people understand. And like I said, this is what I know now. I don't know what it's going to be like. There's a few more legs of this tour. This is the first leg. The European run will be the second leg. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a huge festival that Alice just joined up in the States. And what was it called, Vic Chalfont? I know you're in the chat. Somebody put it up there.
September. It's a new date.
It's in September. It's fucking amazing festival.
Come on, Vic.
Kiss. We have Kiss, Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, I think, all on the same night. And then the other nights you have amazing headline bands. Like it's a 4-day festival, or 3 or 4 day festival. So it's really cool. A bunch of different bands, Louder Than Life. So go check that out. But
Okay.
We'll see. That's the third leg, and by then, who knows what has changed? But maybe we'll have a third leg of the All Access. We don't know. We're trying this on this first leg for sure to see how it works, and if it works well, then maybe we'll do it on the second time. I don't know how much my battery. It's a new iPhone, so I'm happy about that. But I don't know how much of my battery I'm going to use every single day on this documenting everything. So we'll see. But I will document until the battery goes out every day.
Yeah. Just have a backup power bank with you. You'll be fine. It'll be okay. But yeah. Anyway, so we were talking RGA. So we've spoken RGA. We've spoken about your new thing there. I'm going to jump forward because we've been talking so much and time is running away. I'm going to jump forward because I was going to go bit by bit about your career, but I'm going to jump ahead to something else. Because I'm just giving Ash warning now because he was going to put up certain banners and now I've jumped into a completely different place. So I had a question from a dear friend of both of us, Kanak, who, as we've said, Voice It Show with the lovely Funky. And
Funky Almadena.
And again, Voice It Show in the links in the description. Anyway, he wanted to know, who is Ryan Roxie? Now, this question gets asked a lot. I mean, even there's a T-shirt, as it's up on the screen now. So I have a question. If we were to ask you who is Ryan Roxie, okay, I stopped there because I work at school and I keep telling the kids not to swear, so I'm trying not to, but it's not going to work. So if we said, who the fuck is Ryan Roxie, what would you say? What's your description of yourself? And there's a reason I'm asking.
I am still figuring it out. And I think you never stop figuring it out who the F you are. And I think if you think you've got it figured out, then you just, again, have no clue about how this thing works. Because I think life is always a search to find out who the F you are and how consistent you can be, how many mistakes you can make, and learn from those mistakes and try and do better the next time. I mean, I can tell you I've run into the wall. I've made multiple mistakes in my lifetime. I've tried to improve from those mistakes. I've tried to, I heard a really cool thing just recently about how you shouldn't ever consciously look for an enemy. Some people need an enemy to inspire them, right? But if you really think about it, the biggest enemy you'll ever have already lives within inside you. If you want to grapple with somebody, then there's enough to grapple with inside your own self and your own improvement instead of looking outside for whether it's someone to point a finger at, or someone to blame, or someone to make you feel guilty. This comes from inside yourself. So it's all about self-improvement. Who the fuck am I? I'm a guy that obviously I've learned that I love to perform. I love to find out about people. I love to entertain for people and with people. That's why I love being on stage, but I also love being on this side of the microphone and interviewing great minds, great musicians, witches. I mean, for instance, yesterday I interviewed a witch. That was my first interview ever having with a legitimate. I think it was, I probably met witches before, but Carrie Ann was a legitimate witch, and I learned a lot about, where her headspace is at and where the whole occult lies. It was interesting to me. So who the fuck am I? I'm definitely a entertainer, and hopefully someone that people get inspired by, whether it's wanting to learn guitar. That's why I have System 12 guitar method, or whether it's they want to learn how to speak in front of people, or just, you know, I guess the way I do with my podcast, if I inspire you to make your own podcast, or to do whatever it is you do good, then I've done my job. So that's who I am. I'm someone that I hopefully inspires people, and but I'm definitely far from perfect, and I'm well aware that I have fucked up, and in my lifetime, and that's why, who the fuck am I? Well, I'm a fuck up, but you know, I'm always do my best to do better, always.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I mean,
who hasn't fucked up at some point in their life?
who are you? I mean, of course, leave it to Kanak, the very wisdom of India right there calling out. And thank you for the mantra, imagine your reality, has gotten through and has actually spoken to you. Imagine your reality is sort of a philosophy that I do believe in, but the one that I try to live by, and the one that I've definitely has influenced me the most, is enjoy the ride. So
yeah. Well, it was interesting, you see, because Kanak posed that question, but I already had something planned, and I said, good, that'll give me a nice introduction to this segment. So
synchronicity.
Yeah. So I asked the Trenches team how they'd describe you. So what you've got to do out of these descriptions is guess who said what. Are you ready?
Okay. Yep.
All right. First one. Ryan holds the ability to be an amazing musician, mover and shaker, friend and a listening ear, all at once. An incredible talent, although his poker game keeps him humble.
That is either Dave Rattenberry or it's Robby Miller. I feel it might be Robby. Yeah, moving a shaker, a mover and a shaker. That's something like you'd say in the 1970s, which is kind of Robby's sort of that's his wheelhouse. You move his vibe. Oh yeah, moving. I bet it'll be in his next reel. He'll have that term, moving a shake. Are you?
All right, so it's 1 out of 1. Right, you ready for the next one? All right.
Yep.
Ryan is the most charismatic person I know. He is always in motion, with an eye on exploring new strategies and new growth paths, in which I'm grateful to be involved. Who of your Trenches team said that?
Wow. I mean, could that be Vic Chalfant or Federica? Neither of those?
Which one?
Well, I mean, when you use the word strategies, that was I was leaning towards Vic, but then Vic would never say anything that kind for me, so I'm thinking Federica. It's Federica. That's
2 out of 2.
You got it.
2 out of 2.
Thank you very much. Wow.
No, right.
I mean, I know that Vic means that, but he just wouldn't say it.
Okay.
He thinks that about me, but he wouldn't say it because as much as I'm happy for them to be a part of what I'm doing, I'm happy to be part of their worlds too, because everybody on the RGA team is very, very creative and has their own things going on, and hopefully this platform, whatever we accomplish out of it, can help everybody else springboard from that. Yeah. So here we go.
And thank you to the whole RGA team for promoting this podcast. They've been doing an incredible job. Okay, next one. You ready?
Yep.
Ryan is one of my favorite people to work with. We often see eye to eye creatively, and I feel we work well together. He gives me some great opportunities, and I feel I've been able to contribute to his projects too. Looking forward to our next project. What do you think?
The Rat?
Yes. Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, it sounds like The Rat. Again, these are all things that Vic Chalfant probably thinks, but he might not say.
All right, how about this one then? He's kind of
thank you very much, Rat. I love The Rat. We all love everybody. All right.
Of course we do. Okay. He's kind of like an older brother to me. Partially because we're always there for each other, but mostly because he's always giving me a hard time and picking on me. I give it right back.
That's Vic. Of course, that's Vic. Yeah.
Had to be.
Older brother. Wait a second. Am
Yeah.
I really?
I was going to ask you about that.
All right. Talk about the goatee on the head. Sorry, Ash, before. Vic. I mean, we both have to wear glasses. Mine just seemed a little bit more. I mean, these are prescription too, Vic, but look, they're nice and stylish. They're House of Gucci glasses.
Ooh, get you.
Yeah, I am giving him a hard time. I love giving Vic a hard time, but he knows it's out of love, and it's older brother though. I don't know.
Older brother. Well, there you go. See, we learned something today. Right, I've got two more for you.
Got it.
For a number of years now, Roxie and I have shared the same vision, ultimately crossing the finishing line and forever wearing golden diapers.
That's Scotty Hagen. Scotty Hagen for sure. Yeah, has to be, right?
What is this golden diaper thing going on here?
Scotty loves gold-plated diapers. They're not actually golden diapers because that would be impossible to wear, Cathy. You know,
It'd be uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, golden diapers. Imagine just the sheer mass and weight of them. But gold-plated diapers are a completely different thing, and Scotty loves it when I bring up that skit. Yeah, by the time we're done with this, we'll all be wearing gold-plated diapers. And that, what is that from? That's Christopher. Everybody does a good what's his name? SNL skit. It's the more cowbell skit. But yeah, and he's the producer. And what's the name of it? He's again. The chat should probably help us out with that. Yeah, but the name of the producer is Christopher Walken is the name of the actor, but he plays this role of this producer, and he says we're all going to be wearing gold-plated diapers. And you know, we've shared a lot of the same vision. He's great at taking my ideas and turning them into reality, and you know, and then putting his own ideas into the project as well. And that a lot of that was what you saw with the creativity and the packaging of Imagine Your Reality. He was the one that came up with a lot of those genius ideas of having a gatefold and 3 different types of album covers. I knew that I wanted that sort of, I knew I had a big picture in mind, and he was able to make all those ideas realities and, you know, put ideas of his own in. There it is. Yeah, we got it, Vic. Walken. We said that a long time ago. A long time ago. You know, but what was his name? What was the producer's name?
Yeah, that's what we wanted to know.
Yeah.
He'll get there. He'll get there. Ash will put it up when he does it. Okay, your very last one. It's a very brief one. Are you ready?
Here we go.
Who described you? Somebody you know. The strangest but best person I know. Now, it's not the RG.
That's Bianca. It's Bianca. It has to be Bianca.
How did you know that?
Yeah, because she's always constantly saying how strange I am. Because, I mean...
Why? Okay, now you have to tell us why.
Then again, I mean, put it this way. With the Roxie All Access pass, you're going to see some sides of me that maybe you don't see, you know, with the filters that Instagram offers. You know, you are going to see some more real sides. I don't think anyone could see as strange a side as Bianca has seen over the years, these last 10 years, because I mean, I've gotten to get a little strange in my 50s, like with things that I do and habits that I have. Maybe you'll be able to pick up on a few of them after watching repeatedly stuff. Those of you that are getting the all access pass, then you might say like, oh, wow. But yeah, I think for Bianca, the sort of the curtain dropped a little bit, like, oh, okay. You know, like when I start walking around the house with my underwear on, you know, and no pants for like days.
2 years. 2
days.
years.
Yeah, days at a time. Like I think she finds that a bit strange because she's the girl that will, like, you know, if she's going, you know, a block away to the store to pick up just some simple groceries, she'll do herself up. She'll dress and she'll make herself look real nice. Where, I mean, if I leave the house after 2 or 3 days, yeah. I'm not saying I don't shower, but I'm not saying I shower like all the time during these last 2 years, you know?
Oh, how often?
Kinga has seen some sides of me. That's a good that comment right there. I've spent time with you. We spend time together when she does, because she's done most of the most guitar lessons out of all the students that we have. She's done the most one-on-one lessons, which is great. So she's seen some of my quirks as a guitar teacher. You know, because when you spend that many hours together in front of the screen, even though it's been, you know, not a live lesson, it's been all virtual, but she has, you know, yeah, she's seen a little bit of the weirdness of what I am as a guitar teacher. But again, I mean, no one's going to see probably the two people right now that will see the strangest sides of me as Bianca and our cat that we have, our familiar that we've just now is living back at the house, Cindy. And when I say familiar, you'll have to understand that I completely got that from yesterday's podcast interview with not interview with a vampire, but interview with a witch.
Damn, that's one of the best films ever. I love that movie. I know that was a really, really incredible show yesterday, because I'm obviously really into all the spooky stuff. And but that confused me, because you said Cindy's your cat. I thought that's the one you were cat sitting if you adopted her now.
Well, it's complicated.
Okay.
Cindy the cat has been around since the kids were tiny. It was the neighborhood cat that was kind of fended for itself. It lived on the street, and we took it in, and I had it live she was living at my apartment, which was very close to their mom's place in Sweden. So when we moved a little, you know, we moved about maybe 3 to 5 minutes farther away, but for a cat, that's a huge distance. So the cat stayed at the kid's mom's house and has been all these years. But my daughter, in her quest to get a dog, instead ended up getting a huge Mancoon cat. This who's amazingly expensive to upkeep, has no idea that it has, you know, that it catches on fire. It literally caught on fire 2 nights ago. But he's a boy. Yeah. You can't have candles around the house because he's got this huge long white hair, and he'll brush by a candle on the table, and he'll catch on fire and go, "Oh, I think I'm on fire." And luckily, my daughter was able to put him out and stuff. But anyway, he's a boy. Cindy's an older lady now. She's kind of enjoying she's a golden gal, if you will, a golden girl. So the two of them just do not mix. And so for the last few months, they've really started to get on each other's nerves. And so we took the cat in when Natasha Grace and her mom went on vacation to LA. We said, yes, you know, have Cindy come over here. Cindy loved it here. She thrived. We fell in love with her. And then we had to go, you know, we had to give her back when they came back. Vacations. Well, same thing started happening with the 2 cats. So we finally came to the decision that hopefully we can have the cat now on a more permanent level and a more permanent basis, because she's really enjoying it. Like, you know, and she is my familiar. I talk to her all the time. And again, probably something that Bianca thinks is very strange, but great. I'm a cat. I mean, at one point I am going to have dogs. I just feel that, you know, the way we live here in Stockholm, the way anybody lives in Stockholm, because it's not house living, it's apartment living. It's like living in downtown New York or, you know, downtown London. It's not easy to have an animal, especially a dog, that requires space. Well, at one point, you know, when we decide to get a different place beside an apartment and not be in the center of the city, we will definitely get animals and dogs and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Of course, you should talk to your cats. They understand every damn word. I've got my two black familiars. I discuss everything with them. But that show yesterday was really, really interesting, actually. In the trenches. And if everyone didn't see yesterday's episode, go and watch it. But when she was talking about Ouija boards, that was freaking me out, because people were talking, and I was like, in the comments, I'm saying, do not touch them. I had such a bad
No.
experience with a Ouija
They're
board.
fact,
I
huh?
never
Yeah.
ever touch them again.
I didn't realize that, she talked about the veil of, we don't want to disturb the dead, and we don't feel that it's kind of right to do that. Some people do, but we don't believe in that. And I thought that was quite cool. And the other thing was like, if you do one bad thing, expect three bad things to happen. If you do one good thing, expect three good things. I liked those philosophies. They were quite interesting to me. And so, I just don't want in the chat people start going, oh, now you're a cat guy and not a dog. No, I'm an animal guy. I love animals. I don't think I'll have a pet owl like the way Carrie Ann would.
Why?
An owl?
Yeah,
an owl. Really, an owl. Who am I? Chris Wise? Chris Wise is the only person I know that could have a pet owl. For one,
I was just sorry to interrupt, but it's interesting because when she was on yesterday, I was completely into that. Brilliant episode. But I was going to ask you, tarot cards, palm reading, ghosts. Have you ever had your tarot done? Have you ever had your palm read? Do you believe in ghosts?
I have had them done, not to the point where I'm going to base my life upon those answers. I think there a lot of power suggestion is involved in there. I think that mediums and people that have clairvoyant thoughts and have that power and that talent and that strength, that gift. Sometimes it's not a gift, but I feel that they tap into a certain reality that could actually quite be what happens in the physical world. They can tap into the metaphysical world, one of many different types of realities. They're shooting at something that, very specific. For me, it's really hard to think of getting something exactly specific in a world of infinite amount of possibilities. So I feel that you can go in a general direction, but I think you can do that yourself. You can inspire yourself. You can visualize, imagine, if you will, your reality. You can visualize your reality. You have to put work into it in the physical world. There's no doubt about it. But the mental aspect of it is much stronger than you think. So yes, do I think that clairvoyance and mediums, that they have a certain talent to tap into certain things metaphysical? Yes. But do I think it's the end all and the only way? No. I wouldn't take, their truths as the ultimate truth, because nobody knows what the ultimate truth is. I mean, even to this day, we don't know what happens when it's time for us to go.
Yeah.
Do the lights just go off, or is it kind of like, oh, we're starting in a whole nother dimension, a whole nother reset, if you will. I mean, look, man, I get down these simulation rabbit holes. I get down these Mandela effect type of conversations, and it can get kind of strange, is a good word to say. But at the same time, I do definitely vehemently believe that we are capable of making our reality favorable to us. There's always going to be somebody else's. If we are just one layer of our to add to this world, there's a bunch of different other factors that can happen. So anything can happen at any time. I know I'm getting really kind of hippie-ish and stuff, but with all we can really control and try to do our best is our own layer of our world, and make it the most affirmative, positive, and truth-seeking reality that we can make for ourselves. Of course, somebody else, can come up and fuck that up completely. But that, again, if we are focused, I think when we set out to do something, if we state something specific, what we want, what we can do, we usually make that more times than we give ourselves credit for. We make that a reality. We don't think twice about if we say, oh yeah, I'm going to go down to the store and pick up some milk, because that happens. people don't realize that, like, you know, well, how much different is that than saying, I want to thoroughly be enjoying my job and my life, and I want to travel around the world, and I want to play music for a living.
Yeah.
Of course, it takes more time and more to make that happen if you're coming from a non-musical background. But guess what? At one point, as a kid, I came from a non-musical background. I learned how to play guitar. I learned how to do this. One thing led us to the other, and now that life that I wanted as a kid, becoming those posters on my wall, has become, to a certain extent, a reality. I'm lucky enough to play with, you know, one of those posters on my wall. I am lucky enough to tour the world playing music, but that was something I wanted as a kid. Just like, you know, I would want very basic things to happen on a day-to-day basis. In a micro level, I wanted it to happen in a macro level, and it has happened. So I am, in a way, sort of proof that, you know, you can imagine your reality, and hopefully that's inspiring.
Yeah. No, something always interests me. It's where I got my name. I started reading tarot cards when I was about 15. That's how I ended up with the name Spooky Peg as my thing. So I'll bring tarot cards to a show one of these days. But yes. Anyway, we've gone so far off track that there was a whole chunk of this show. Oh, I've frozen.
Yeah, you have frozen, but it's a really nice freeze frame, everybody. Please take a screenshot of that. Hey, take a screenshot of that. Everyone take a screenshot so we can post that up.
I'm going to go
Come on, people. I hope you got it. I want that to be the thumbnail for our thing.
Just, by the way, Ryan.
Oh my God, Cathy, you've changed.
I have. Yeah, I dye my hair grey. It's usually green.
Yes, you dye the roots gray, and everything else is usually black. Yeah, I get it. Where you go? Now I'm by myself. Now I feel like I'm part of in the trenches. There you go.
Oh right, we got it now. We got it now. I mean, the questions I would have asked, you really don't want to be asked. So
sure, I do. Why not?
There we go.
Is she back on now?
Oh, we'll have a look. She's kind of black. She's black, but we can hear you.
Well, that's no good. I knew this was going to happen.
Can't hear you, bro.
We can hear you, bro, but we can't see you, bro.
I'm going to come in here and take that over.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so, you'll enjoy watching this. This will be fun. Here she comes.
Yeah,
but she can do the live chat as well. Yeah. Here she comes. Right,
there you go. That's what you got to do. That's thinking outside the box. You switch places.
Just when you think it's all going so smoothly. But isn't it weird that we were talking about ghosts and spooky stuff when it all went wrong? Just saying.
Well,
anyway,
you know what? If you would have done a tarot reading before, it would have said, you know what? Check your Wi-Fi connection about, an hour into it.
Yeah, should have done. Anyway, there was a whole chunk of this show that was going to follow your career from start to finish, but we're going to run out of time before we even start.
No, we'll have to. You know what? The whole people know a little bit about most of the career stuff, but we can do it at one point. Maybe this is kind of cool. Maybe we can have a little exclusive interview, finding out those questions when we do it on one of those little all access. That's not a bad live streams.
That is not a bad idea. But I am going to throw, okay, because we're going to run out of time, and I know this is going to happen. I'm going to throw a few random questions, and then we've got viewer questions. Okay,
you got it.
So we're just going to jump ahead to that. Ash,
I'll go bam, 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 bam. I'll answer them as quick as I can.
Okay, Ash, can you give me my beanie hat that's got questions in it? Because
I can't see you, bro.
Do you know what happened? There were so many questions. I thought the only fair way to do this is to get a beanie hat, write them on a piece of paper, and chuck them in. Because we are primarily an 80s show, so we're with that vibe. We don't have fancy graphics or anything. So first question I've got is: are you easier to scare or embarrass?
Wow. Am I easier, and I don't have to guess who this question came from.
No, this is my random ones first, then we're going to go on to the beanie.
I think I'm probably easier to scare.
Okay.
Because I mean, being embarrassed is like, I mean, kind of been there and done it. I don't know, man. That's a good question, because it is a tough one, because I'm trying to think of the last time I was thoroughly embarrassed. It wasn't embarrassed because at the same time you're embarrassed, you're actually scared too at the same time
Yeah.
to a certain extent. So um I don't know.
I
You
had
know
to
what?
think about that one.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I'll leave it.
I'll
Depends
leave that
on
one
mood.
hanging.
Depends on mood.
Yeah. All right. Well, that would. Well, the first time I ever met you, I was embarrassed. You probably won't remember. I'd had fillers done in my top lip, and the day I
No.
came to see you, it was me and Keena, and we were in Manchester, and I had to walk around the whole night like that because my whole top lip swelled up and turned black. So that was pretty embarrassing. I spent the whole night. Okay. So moving on to what you just said about depends on how you're feeling. What emotion would you say you experienced the most?
Happiness. I do. I'm
Really?
very lucky. I'm very lucky to experience a lot of happiness. Yeah, giddiness. Yeah, I really do. It's one of those things I'm very, very thankful for, and I know that not everybody is able to feel that emotion as much as they'd like to, and maybe it's one of my goals and missions is to help people feel more of that emotion because it is a sweet emotion.
Excellent. Brilliant. All right. Then the other one going along a similar track is, do you suffer from nerves, insomnia or stress? And if so, how do you deal with it?
Stressed a little bit. I get stressed out about silly little things, sometimes I'll and usually sometimes with the whole money thing, because as a musician, you're always from the beginning of becoming a musician, you're raised in this feeling of scarcity because you don't know when that next gig's coming. You don't know when that next show is going to pay for how much it's going to pay for the month. So you're kind of budgeting out. So with money issues, I think I get stressed out easier than I should. And I've learned coping mechanisms, and I've in I'd say the last 10 years, I've learned to let a lot of that go. But I still would be lying to you if I said that those types of things don't unneedingly stress me out. Yeah,
Okay.
because I feel it's a big step to feel that you've been raised in this world of scarcity, and then accept that we actually live in a world of abundance, and we live in a world where even if you didn't have as much as you did, how much do you really need to make yourself happy and experience happiness?
Yeah, very true. Very true. So the last two of mine are going to be, when you get drunk, what kind of drunk do you get? Are you
I'm a happy
giggly?
drunk. I'm a good drunk.
You're a happy drunk.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm definitely a good drunk. There were times years ago when I was doing more drugs and mixing drugs and alcohol and stuff that I think maybe envy, jealousy, weirdness would creep in. But now, no, it's sort of like, I've been on a lot of the rides, and I'm not saying that there aren't more rides to go on, and I'm happy to go on them and check them out. But when I have a cocktail or two, I'm a pretty friggin' fun guy to be around.
Okay. And do you dance? If you're at, say, a party at somebody's house or whatever, do you dance, and do you have a signature dance move?
I danced.
Oh, God.
I dance badly. I wish I could learn how to dance better and more traditional for Bianca's sake, because she's a really good dancer, and the person that she dances best with is her and her brother can dance perfect together. I actually toyed with the idea of taking dance classes, more traditional type of dancing, but I like late 80s, early 90s, Manchester, Stone Roses, Happy Mondays, Charlatans UK, those types of bands. I feel that I can dance. Like the way I'm dressed right now, I look like I'm ready to go to a place in Manchester, and then, just not, like Sean Ryder was never the best dancer in the world, but he somehow was able to look cool doing it.
Yeah.
I just saw a video the other day of one of my favorite songs, the New Radicals, and it's the singer is basically his band, but the New Radicals is you only get what you give, don't give up. You got
Oh,
a
yeah.
reason to live. Don't that stop you on a minute down. I love that song and I love that video. And you could tell he's kind of a bad dancer. He's kind of awkward, but he's like, you know, I'm like Phil. Is it Phil Rudd, the actor, or is it Paul Rudd?
Oh, Paul. I think it's Paul. Is it Paul? Yeah, Paul.
That's how I dance. I kind of
hey,
dance.
look, everyone, we got a live performance on the show.
You wanted a live performance, that you got me dancing sort of Paul Rudd style.
So, okay, true or false on these? Were you, according to Wiki,
false.
Were you a composer on Junk Food Horror Fest in 2007?
True. That's fact. Yes, I have. That was my first. That was my first soundtrack that I ever did. It was called. What was the name? What was his name? The director. It was called. No, what was the name of the title? It one more time.
Junk Food Horror Fest.
Junk Food Horror Fest, and his name was in front of it. Oh God! If he's watching right now, he's gonna Calico. That was her acting debut as well, Calico Cooper.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, something fries. Junk Food Horror Fest. Something I want to say something fries, but the directors. He had put his name in there to obviously launch springboard his career off Calico Cooper's name and my name, which I don't think worked. But you know what?
All right, so that was fact. Wiki actually got something right. Second one is, forgive my French accent, Le Comité de Reprise, a mini series in which you played yourself in 2015.
I believe, unless I was on copious amounts of something that I hadn't done in those years.
That's false.
That's false. Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about. Although, I mean. Yeah.
Apparently, you played yourself in a miniseries. I think everyone in the chat would like to see that. So maybe that's something for Roxie TV in the future.
Well, I did actually just check out Beatrice Dalle, who's a French actress who was in the movie Betty Blue, has a gap in front of her teeth. Coolest sort of movies from the 80s. But I did check out Beatrice Dalle's Instagram the other day and was surprised. Well, no, happily found out that she still is like avant-garde as she always has been.
Oh, that's good. Good to hear. Yeah. Good to hear. And the last one, 2017, it says writer and composer on the movie Joe Dick. See, I'm thinking back.
That could be true. That might be true. I mean, because I have done. I have done some soundtrack music for adult films.
Which you said ages ago on Pink Soccer. You're going to tell us where we find it, because we still haven't found it.
Oh, okay. I might have the only existing copy left. And it wasn't a home video. It was actually a good production. It was actually done on quite a nice. They had a budget, obviously. But I mean, yeah. So Joe Dick might have definitely happened.
But that wasn't the one that's the porno movie. Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
It wasn't? I don't know.
Okay.
That could be fact or fiction. It's a gray area because it could have been. It sounds like something I might have done music for. But let's do some questions from the beanie.
Let's go.
What do you call that? You guys call it a beanie in the UK?
Yeah, I get a beanie. Yeah.
I love it.
Well, you're always having a beanie, so I thought it worked. Okay, Daniela. You know Daniela.
Yep.
How many times a day do you practice guitar? And any advice for playing and singing at the same time? Because she says that's something she struggles with.
That's a good question. You know what? Those are questions that I'm going to probably answer in my all access videos, stuff like that.
I'll send you.
No, you should probably send the rest of those to me afterwards. But Danielle, the best thing to do is practice like I did. Practice in front of a mirror, because start air guitaring and singing. All right. Because I used to, because even when even though I had a guitar with me, I would sometimes I wanted to sing as well. So I would play air guitar, and because air guitar, you don't have to hit the right chord, right? Unless, you can finger the right chord, you can think you're fingering the right chord, but you're not anywhere close. So if you can actually just try air guitaring it and then singing and watching yourself, how you come across, then it's not as difficult to sort of work in a real guitar after that.
Oh,
Try that.
Okay, fair enough. And here's one from Shenaz. Why do you wear sweatbands on your biceps?
On my bicep.
No, on your biceps, because you do. When you see pictures of you, there you always wear black ones up here. I get why you wear them on the wrist because of the sweat and the play and everything, but why do you wear them up?
You know what's weird?
Reason?
It's because I like my arms. I'm always happy about my arms. That is one of my sort of, people would say, "Oh, what's your favorite feature of your body?" And I would never say my ass because many people say I don't even have one. But I would
say that to me.
but my arms, I'm kind of happy about the tone, but I do work out and exercise and do aerobics every, some sort of cardio every single day, pretty much, maybe one day off a week, but I do work on it. And the thing is, though, I don't have any tattoos on my body.
No, I mean,
so the fact that I don't have any tattoos, it lends it to dress up my arms with other stuff, whether it's wristbands or whether it's, sometimes, I don't know if you saw on the last leg of the tour, I was wearing sort of a, kind of a tassel type thing. I don't know. I was sort of I was just sort of taking a little bit of Steven Tyler, because he's always wearing scarves and things and accoutrements and, all those types of things. But because I have my arms are they're clean with no ink on them, I can dress them up and put more stuff on them than I guess if I did. Because if I did have tattoos, why would I put wristbands over it and stuff? Because you'd want people to see the actual tattoo. So I guess maybe that's why.
All right. That makes sense. Okay. What is the food like in Sweden? What is your favorite dish? What was it like moving from the US? Wow, this is long. This is from Brittany, who's Brit the MCD. She's never left the USA, so she's curious to know, what was it like moving to another country? How did you adapt? What was the food like?
The food is more expensive. All right.
Yeah.
A lot more by everything, by all standards, except for lunches. Lunches are actually affordable in Sweden. But, if you're going to come to Sweden and you're going to have McDonald's, I guess McDonald's is one of those things where it's kind of more universal these days. They've kind of brought it down, but simple things that you would think that would be like, oh yeah, I'll go to Taco Bell and spend, $6 and I'll be full. $6 doesn't even get you in the door at a fast food place here. It's like,
Really?
No. You got to double it. And that's the thing. So you're going to pay more. The food there's no Mexican food here to really speak of that's amazing, that's good. There are some Mexican places, but unless someone turns me on to a good Mexican restaurant in Stockholm and in Sweden, I don't think one exists. So you're going to have to turn me on to that one. And I do love Mexican food. I love Tex-Mex. I love whenever we're in the States and we're in those Southwest type of states, whether it's Texas, Arizona, Tex-Mex is where it's at. So, that as far as the food, everything in general is a little bit more expensive, but how is it, you just go there with a completely different, with an open mind and go there, not expecting the West, but you'll find your favorite things. All the necessities are there in Europe. It's not like it's that foreign a place. I mean, you've lived in the UK forever. It's the same thing. It's just sometimes a little bit different,
Yeah, I know. It's the same when I went to Spain as well. Okay, let me throw kids one more. Who have we got here? Wait. I know we're out of time. Okay, Belen. You know Belen.
Of course, yeah.
Do you have any advice to help remember chords?
To remember chords. Remember your alphabet, and then remember where you are on the guitar neck, and then of course, that's what all System 12 does, is we talk about the 6th string and the 5th string. Learn the names of each one of those notes and learn those 6th string power chords and 5th string power chords. If you can memorize those and where they are on the guitar neck, you will always be able to play songs and, hopefully play them in order. So on the 5th string, for instance, it starts with the letter A. ends A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It goes just like the order. And then on the 6th string, it starts with the letter E, but it's the same alphabet, E, F, G. There's no such thing as an H note. You start again at the letter A, B, C, D, E. That getting it to understand that the further you go up the neck, just like the alphabet, the letters go up. That's how you remember where they are in the order. Then after that, start challenging yourself, going A, F, F, G. A, F, F, G. Visualize it in your mind of where you're going to play 6-string power chords. A, okay, that's the 5th fret. F, 1st fret. G, 3rd fret. Okay, A, F, F, G. So it's one of those things where you can memorize it and you will memorize it, but just nail the 6th string and the 5th string first.
Okay. Well, we're never going to get through these because I know we're running out of time.
You know what? Don't be stressed about it. Don't be stressed about it. We can go for a little, we have a little bit extra time.
I just want to say, I don't want people in the chat to kill me going, I sent you a question and you don't
No. And we will do another,
Well, you can come back.
We can always come back. It's always been a pleasure. But, I did a podcast with my buddy Paul Unger from Noisy Fans of America. And he showed me it was a small book, a small novel of questions that he had sort of come up with. And I was like, okay, for one, not even the most diehard, dedicated, fanboyed out Ryan Roxie fan, which I'm talking about Vic Chalfant, not only I'm joking,
but, we love you, Vic.
But not even the most dedicated Ryan Roxie fan wants to sit through a book of questions of, you got to digest it. And I said, look, 45 minutes tops. And then, because we have hardcore fans, maybe an hour. And then of course, with you, I've said, I've said, we'll do an hour and a half. So it's fine. But I think everybody, and I don't want to speak for the entire chat that's in there, or, you at home that's watching this video on a rebroadcast, you're done. Right, you're probably kind of done mentally, and you've heard it. You've had enough of Ryan Roxie for today, so maybe you can come back a little bit later. I mean, sometimes I've had enough of myself, and I'll go in the other room. I'll talk to my cat for a little while. I'm actually having a guitar lesson a bit later, so I've got to prepare for that, and we'll come back and we'll do it again, or maybe we'll do it on the as one of the sort of bonus features of the All Access.
Why not?
Because that is happening now, and I'm leaving it up to everybody else. When I start posting this stuff up, I'm leaving it up to you guys, because I know you're in the chat right now, to repost it and take screenshots of it and just turn people onto it if you can, because I think it's a cool experiment. And again, it's going to be a very intimate, not sexually intimate, but like intimate
going down some
we're going to be in each other. We're going to know about, we're going to get to know each other on a more personal level than we would if it was just, me posting up my stories every single day, which I still will do. I will still post up.
Yeah, still do that.
On my regular. Don't think that I'm leaving.
No.
I don't. The thing is, I'm not leaving my own Ryan Roxie platform at all. I mean, there's still going to be, but what I was telling the team, and I was telling, Federock and Vic, when we sort of pool this together, I can put up 10 posts of things that happened to me during the day of Instagram, whereas we could take one of the best shots of that and put that up on the official one and say, look, hey, if you want to find out more of what happened with this situation, this crazy encounter at Starbucks, go check out the All Access Pass. So, you know what? I feel that
there you go. Look, Federock's got it.
Yeah, she's already marketing it. She's very good with that. So anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll do it up again. We'll do up another sort of session and stuff. It's been fun talking to you, and it always ends up being.
It's just gone nowhere near what the script was ever supposed to be. Trust me, I knew that was going to happen with you. I'll tell you why. It's because you're one of the richest guitar players in the world, isn't it?
One of the richest.
Yeah, because I read Ryan Roxie earns an enormous amount and is one of the richest guitarists with $7 million, according to articlebio.com.
I was going to say
There
7
you go.
because I would like it to be 77 million. If you're actually just pull a number out of your ass, pull like 77 million, because 7 million, there's guys that are like, probably in, all in on Bitcoin that are, shitting that out. They have that in their pockets of Ethereum. That's worth one of their NFTs. No, it's just like, but again, I'm not even close to that. And hopefully, as a guitar player, that 7 million is not the baseline for being the richest guitar players in the world.
No.
I would hope
That'd be pretty nice.
I would hope Slash has more than 7 million. That's the one thing I would, and trust me, he does. He has way more.
I'm sure he does. So as we wrap it up, so we've got your socials scrolling along the bottom there. Everything's in the links are in the show description for everything.
I like that scrolling feature.
You know what?
Because Vic Chalfant, we have to put up a scrolling feature more on our shows, because we never do it on In the Trenches. We don't use the scrolling feature as well. But you know what?
I have no choice, because I don't.
Vic, why don't we use the? You know what? Now I'm going to have a big discussion online with Vic. Like, why don't we use the scrolling feature right here? You made some great animation for subscribe button, but you know what? And look at Cathy doesn't even pay for StreamYard. You can tell because she doesn't even pay for it, because she has this duck, and we do. We pay the most amount so we can get high def.
And that's why I can't do any fancy animation and graphics, but I can do that.
She can do scrolling, Vic. We got to do more scrolling.
More scrolling, definitely more scrolling.
But what,
okay, so before you go, I'm going to do to you what you do to your guests. Leave us with a message, a rule that you live your life by. Give us some inspiration before you go.
All right. I've talked a lot about the 3 Ps, the practice, persistence, and patience. And if you don't know about that, then go, I'm going to drop something. Check out my TED Talk on my YouTube official channel about practice, persistence, and patience. But I also just learned about the 3 Ds, and that's desire, discipline, and dedication. Okay. Desire, discipline, dedication. You use the 3 Ps, the 3 Ds, then those are your PDs. Those are your PDs, folks. And if anybody knows what a PD is, that's your per diem. Those are actually good sort of wages for life, to have an enriching life. You should, because when we're on the road, we live off of our PDs, our per diems, and the 3 Ps and the 3 Ds: practice, persistence, patience, desire, discipline, dedication. They both, all those 6 sort of words, they all sort of work well with each other. They cross over, but they're all very important to live a very enriching life. So good luck to you.
Wonderful. That'll send us on our way nicely for the weekend. We love that.
Absolutely.
So, all the pieces of paper all over the floor we'll use for the next time that we chat. And
there you
maybe
go.
my phone won't die on me as well. But apart from
no. We broadcast until the batteries ran out, and I love it. Exactly. So I'm going to go prepare for my guitar lesson, and in the meantime, I'll be putting up posts about the All Access Pass. So thanks for being part of it, and thanks for having me on Reignite Podcast. Always a pleasure.
It has been our absolute pleasure. Can I just give you the hook and hold on for 2 seconds while I say goodbye?
Please do.
Everyone? All right. See you soon. That's it. He's been hooked. He's sitting there. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Sorry the phone went a bit nuts there. Sorry everything died. So if you go to the show description, you'll see everything Ryan Roxie there, everything you need to sign up to his new exclusive All Access Pass. He'll probably tell me I've got that wrong. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, because we have Paul Gray from The Damned joining us on April the 3rd live. Also, if you didn't see Ryan's episode yesterday of In the Trenches with Carrie Ann Grove, go and check it out. It was fabulous. And the Voice It Show this week had Bridget West. So definitely go and watch those. Now we are going to end our broadcast. We will be back on April the 3rd. And I'm going to try and close the show down, which will be interesting because my producer is not here. And now I'm looking for the outro. So hopefully we're ending the show See you all soon, guys. Stay reignited.